You do it for me. Oh, what's love got to do? What's love but a second-hand emotion? Fix the situation. Yes. Sorry, it's a little bit late, but 8 minutes, you know. Trying to fix the YouTube live. It wasn't working, but now it's working. Um, yeah, this is exciting. YouTube live. Yeah. But at the same time, there are hard times right now. Things are going on. I'm gonna lower the music a little bit, but Tina Turner, getting her Tina Turner back. So I hope you guys are doing really good today. Friday, finally, weekend. Yes. I know for some, weekends are just like a normal thing since we're staying home and working from home, and others are working all week and finally able to breathe and stuff like that during the weekend. So I think that's pretty good. So yeah, today I want to talk about children's education, mental health, and also online education. So I'm gonna touch a little bit on those things that I have endured during the lockdown and quarantine. And also, I invite you to write in the comments or let me know anything that you want to discuss that we can talk about here. And yeah, just try and find solutions while I tell you a little bit about my story and my experiences. And I hope that this is a safe space for you to share your story as well, any experiences or anything, any concerns that if you have children. Um, how how is this affecting you, the decision right now with this happening in Montreal, Quebec. So yeah, sorry, my target audience is from my city, where Montreal, Quebec, but there's a lot inconsistency and not accountability and a lot of inequality that is affecting right now majority of minority people, right? So that's something that I want to touch on parents right now dealing with this situation where you're kind of mandatory forced to send your kids to school unless you have a doctor's note, unless your child is already has any disabilities or any difficulty. They are exempt from going back to school. They're able to take classes online and stuff like that. So in a way, yes, that is the right thing to do, of course. And I think parents but also I feel like those parents dealing with children who have disability or have hard time learning, how are they able to cope? What's the support that they're getting? Online schooling for your children and stuff like that. But in terms of like, okay, so if they're working from home, do they have courses, or is it there's something that it's not really it says my connection is unstable. Sorry. But okay, let's speed it up. But I want to touch on those things where there's a lot of inequality. There's a lot of things that are not being said. And also children's rights are literally like dismissed. And yeah, let's keep up the economy. Let's keep all these things. But let's just throw our children, healthy children right now, their parents who have kept their children at home, have done activities, have done also homeschooling during COVID, during this time, and are able to work and homeschool as well. But now they also have to mandatory send kids to school. So I don't know. I want to open this and see what are your thoughts, what are you thinking. Leave me in the comments. What are your thoughts about this? What do you think? And if you're a non-parent, and if you're younger, and I don't know, I feel like other people have other experiences or have seen other things from other parents or from other families and stuff. So if you have any ideas, if you've seen parents how they have dealt and have done really good for their kids and stuff like that. And you know, send her away or tell us, what you learned from them. It's we all learning through this. It's very uncertain. Very not a lot of things are being met and set. And it's all like we're traveling into this COVID-19 systematic racism, white supremacy, patriarchy, sexism, all in one shot, like a wave. And right now, the most affected are people who are don't have a voice, who are homeless, who are poor, were poor, but now are even poorer, and children and women right now who are living with also domestic abuse and all kinds of abuse, right? And it's all being quiet, but we all want to go back to normal, right? But it's because of that normal that we silent a lot of things. And now I feel like COVID-19, all this have brought that forward, right? And we now have to face the reality, right? And it's hard to face the reality, especially during these times where everything is uncertain. So yeah, I want to talk about that, how I've been dealing with that, and inviting you to let me know how you've been doing, how you've been dealing with this stuff. How's your mental health? How have you been coping with mental health? So that's the first one I'm going to talk about. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about my story, and then I'm going to touch into mental health. So I don't know if I said it before, but I'm Angie, Angie Blog. And Angie Blog channel right now, I want to create it into a way where I get to, I'm a writer and environmentalist, and also an artist, a creative. And I have a lot to say. So I write a lot, but also I dealt with a lot of things in my life since a childhood to now, and has been very difficult during lockdown as well because of those things that I put under the rug. Um, I didn't want to deal with them, so I just let them be under the rug. And I guess during that time of lockdown where I lost my two jobs, I kind of like had to like, okay, I want to homeschool my child while I also am working and building my business and doing this thing. So it was through that time because I have to look from within in order to be the mother that I want to be, that I'm, you know, that's when it was like a crumble, like everything that I had under there crumbled, and all that trauma, childhood trauma, just kept, just like, we see, racism and all that stuff coming all at once. It was just all at once. And it was very difficult to cope. So that's something that I wanted to ask you when you were locked down for 3 months or four. Some people are still in lockdown right now. I know I spoke with my dad today, and he said that 15 of his friends died last month. And this is in Dominican Republic, where they don't have the benefits and the opportunities that we have here in Quebec, right? So, and right now everybody is in lockdown. Schools, they all going virtually, online. So that's just something that I want to say. Okay, so if a country where not a lot of opportunities are able to keep their children safe and keep the people safe, try to, because they're still, it's uncontrollable. My dad says it's just like the USA, right? They're dying. Like, not a lot of people have a lot of resources. Health, it's not accessible for everybody. There's a lot of things that fall into place, which it's something that, I think we should take more in consideration, is that data right now matters a lot. And also, that's something that I've noticed on the Quebec data system, is that sometimes they add the right data. And so like, oh no, we'll add it tomorrow, we'll add it later. But there's a lot of inconsistency and not accountability. And also, that I feel that it's a human right for us to know what the capacity of the hospitals and how much, how much people are being affected, how who is recovering. And another thing is that they're not voicing out as well the fact that those who get COVID again have a very, very likely chance of survival. So those who survive the first time, the second time it's not that good. And also it brings a lot of consequences in terms of internal, for example, heart, lungs. Um, so this is something that they're not voicing. They're just like, oh no, we're just gonna open everything. We're gonna open school because those people who survived COVID, they're okay now. So now their children, they're gonna be fine. Nobody's immune to this. And this is another thing where I feel like we're kind of like thinking that we're above health precautions, right? We're above what is exactly needs to be done and human rights, right? But no, let's just focus on making more money, and which I'm trying to understand because we live in a city that has the highest taxes, and it's just the health system, their education, releasing data that literally can help see how systematic racism and environmental racism, it's very clear here. And it's just like, no, we're not going to release that because it's not convenient for other races, right? The other race where they benefit from inequality, and we know this already. It's just that it's hard to listen to the truth and understand the truth, right? Because it's, oh wait, no, I never experienced that. Why should I care, right? That's privilege, and that's something that society and we have been learning for years, right? 400 years of racism, 500 sexism, right? And that too, being reading books, learning, listening to people's stories, and then understanding my story that I just kept putting on the rug because I didn't want to face it. I didn't want to. No, no way, no way, right? But that's something that now it's in my face, and it's in our faces, and it's in our face, right? So yeah, that's one of the things that I wanted to emphasize in terms of how our city right now, it's disregarding mental health for everybody. It's not, the children, but the parents, the non-parents, the people who are out there, essential workers, health workers, doctors and nurses. Like now, I don't want to say that my doctor, I asked her, can I have a note so I don't have to send my kids to school? And she said, do you want to know how many notes I have to write and how many people we have right now positive? It's the stress that they're dealing on a daily basis. It's like intensified by the fact that the government now has make it that parents need to reach the doctors in order to have that right not to send their kids to school during our pandemic. And also, they're already predicting that there's a second wave. Okay, but we're still going to open everything. We're still going to, right? And I don't think, anyways, I'm just trying to find some kind of solution, some kind of way to see, okay, am I the only one feeling this way? Is this like there's nobody out there that is wants to talk about this and want to see how can we create something that it can help people right now, parents, children, people who are homeless right now, people who lost their jobs. Like there has to be a way. This cannot be just okay, we're just gonna take whatever. Oh really? So my children or me, I don't have rights to say no, I'm not sending my healthy child to school to test if she will get it or not with other kids. Makes no sense. That's makes no sense. Anyways, there's 5 things that I wanted to tell you for those who work from home and in terms of mental health. So the first one is that I know a lot of people is like, oh no, therapy. Oh no, I don't want to take therapy. Look, decolonizing the mind because we have to, and that's something the government system and everything they don't want you to do, but you must. It's our duty because this has been going for so long, 400 years, colonized, being colonized, acting and educating our children, lying about history, right? So we stay colonized. No, it's not. The only way is that you have to heal your inner child. Decolonization means that you're letting go. And those are, I'm just saying these for people who have non healthy parenting experiences. Those who had, bless you. All right. You are blessed, your parents, and nobody's perfect. I'm not saying the parents that, well, nobody's perfect. But all I'm saying is that those parents that invested their time on their child well-being, on their education, on things that really matter, that it will, help them in the future, and their discipline techniques have not been abusing, right? They empower, and because it's a colonized mentality that unfortunately our parents and the parents before that and the parents before that experience different things in a lifetime that they didn't think that therapy or that they should have not done those things. They thought that that was the best way. And then you have a community of other parents who have been living with the same thing, and then they thought that that was okay. So they go together and say, yeah, that's a good discipline. La chancleta. It's called the chancla culture. And I don't know, in my country and, in other countries, it's like a normal thing to abuse and hit children and, you know, and that's what I wanted to talk to you about, how during therapy, this has helped heal that inner child because I am enduring 6 different traumas of childhood. I love my mama, I love my papa, I love my stepdad, and each of them have their stories of their parents, but it still didn't make it right, but they didn't know any better, right? They didn't have someone to tell them, hey, there's other ways to discipline your child. There's other ways that you can talk to your child. There's other ways that you don't let your kid feel neglected. There's other ways, you know. They didn't have that. Also, they want to encourage to take therapy to heal those traumas so they don't bring it forward to your children, right? So that's something that I wanted to emphasize, that mental health starts in you for you to heal and be able to do all these things and work from home and have that productivity and motivation and continue doing what you're doing, surviving right now. That's the first step. It's looking within. And those who can't afford therapy right now, that's another thing. Is that why isn't it therapy and mental health free? I mean, that helps productivity and helps people to work and do things that they got to do, and also better ways to raise children, right? So that we break that cycle and we don't continue doing that in the next 100 years. I mean, it did took 100 years, 100 years later for women to have rights, right? But do you see what I'm trying to say? We could do this, but it has to be a collective thing, right? Anyways, the second thing that has helped during this time to continue working, continue doing, being a mama, working, and also trying to find apartments, is before you wake up, like you wake up, like you have a time to wake up, right? So wake up 10 minutes before. So that 10 minutes is exactly only for your own inner mantra. So in a way you wake up with an intention, and or you use meditation, or you do something completely that you will never before you start the hassle. And so that's something that I it has helped a lot to waking up before the kids wake up, do things like before the kids, like prepare all my work and stuff like that before the kids wake up, or the night before that too, before you go to sleep, if you're a night owl like me. So but yeah, I'm a night owl sometimes but that's the writing and artist life, right? We paint and write when it flows, right? So if you are a night owl, night times is after you've done your creativity or done something that that you've been working on. I think you have to be able to close everything, close phone, close it, and really have that 10 minutes for yourself. Okay? Because if you don't have 10 minutes for yourself, you don't have a life. Okay? So that 10 minutes is your sacred thing. So that's number two. Number three, you got to do something creative. I know it's work, it's hard, there's something that you have to find that brings you joy, that you got to do it. Whether that is giving, donating, or if you can, if you're not, but giving your time, you know, volunteering, helping someone that is having a difficult time, um, anything, anything that brings you that inner creative joy. So, but then again, that comes with a 10-minute, finding that and then doing that on a everyday basis. Number four, you have to surround yourself with positive and encouraging and, you know, people. And you have to let go of all toxic. Oh my God. Trust me when I say this. Even if it's your family, a friend, or anything, if someone is bringing you down and your energy is always low when you're around these people, and either they use verbal abuse or anything of these things, walk away. Walk away. Close the phone, lock that, unfollow, whatever it is that you have to do to protect your energy. You have to, especially during this time. There's a lot going on and it's all at once in your face. So if you're a young person, not a parent, and you're going back to school and you're feeling these things, where this anxiety of like, oh my God, I'm, or you're able to work, to study from home, then I will suggest to, after you've done your classes, after you're done, you do your courses, after you're done, you have to find something creative to do. Okay, whether that's painting, reading, photography, writing. Honestly, writing has saved my life. And yeah, I don't, one day I'll go further and talk about this, but writing this has been saving my life. If I don't write my thoughts or what's happening in my head and dealing with this and having someone to talk about these things, I wouldn't be here right now. So you have to take that time after you've done all your duties, all the things you got to do at home, helping mama, helping daddy, and all that stuff. You have to. Okay. And yeah. And number five is, I know people say like, oh, Netflix and this and that. I'm like, if you're done your job, if you're done school, if you're done all the things of giving to people and stuff like that, and you need that time off of no gadget, but you just want to like watch a movie or do something completely, go outside and explore and disconnect, just do it. Hmm. Yeah, especially during this time. And if you're going to be around a lot of people, wear your mask, but you have to do that walk or do that thing that just detach from because inner work is work. This is and this is what we're having a difficult time with, self-discipline and getting things done even though we're home. And you know what I mean? So it's because, and that's something that I'm learning in therapy, is that nobody wants to go deep within and feel all that, you know but once you do and you start healing that inner child, and understanding who you are, and looking from within what exactly drives you, and something that, whatever drives you, you can do consistently and do it every day, then that's what it is. So that's why my mental health tips are basically in a way to work inside and then be able to give. Okay. All right. The other thing I want to talk about is, okay, so here we go. Online education, schools offering services for children and parents. So I've been looking online like nonstop about schools that provide online education. Not a lot, at least on the English side, is the French side actually has some online education already implemented, and they're already working on those things. And but the English side, it's a little bit, yeah, yeah. So that's something that I wanted to talk about and see if you can leave in the comments after I post this later. If you know any schools that are providing online courses for kindergarten, pre-K, and high school or college. I know that universities right now and colleges are doing that. They're already set for online courses and all of that, even though they're charging normal prices, like if students were in the facility. But then again, right? So that's something that you know I think I want to find some sort of a way or solution about how can we provide this online support, but also make sure that our kids are safe, because that's another thing. The fact that children now are online, they will be online, or they have a set of time online with their teacher, or yeah, with their teachers. That's something that we have to, parents, kind of understand that there's security and things that we need to implement before we do this. For example, you shouldn't be having Alexa or Google and stuff like that open when there's a Zoom virtual call with your child. Absolutely not. They're listening to the conversation whether you think or not. And also, there could be hackers or predators that could be having access to that, right? So that's something that we have to come in consideration, and that's something that I wanted to see. Okay, is this something these schools who are providing this online course are also providing that support in terms of, like, okay, this block this, you know what I mean? Also the support for for parents, like, okay, so this is the homework that the child will do during his time, but parents, this is for you to enforce, or not enforce, but more like continue the learning experience. But also, I believe that after online education, I don't think parents are off the hook, which I think that's what they feel like. Oh, but I mean, you're off the hook when you bring them to school, right? And you go do your work and do you have your time and whatever. I know this, right? I'm a mama. I'm a single mama, and I know you feel this way. But also, I'm not perfect. I'm not saying that, but at the same time, if I take away my, okay, let me just look how my child will feel if I do this, and I let her know the regulations of the schools, the guidelines. I hope you're doing that, parents. I hope you're telling your children the guidelines of the school before you send them to school, not knowing what's gonna happen, right? So that's something that it comes to children's rights, where parents need to prepare survival ways for your child. It's not just like, oh, I'm just gonna put it there. Oh yeah, you're just going to school, going there. I'm working. I don't have time. Hmm. I can't. I am too much work. Oh, it's so stressful. You're not the only one. We're all stressed. We're all dealing with things, but you do have children. If this is a parent, you have children, and that's your responsibility. You decided to have children, that's your responsibility. It's not just something that, oh, okay, no. And that's something that I notice a lot in when I look at the Facebook of any of the news about kids getting stabbed and disappearing, children drowning, and all these things. On top of kids getting sick of COVID, there's all this, you know, things that are going on. And then I see also parents that are really supportive of those parents. Okay. And then they lash at other parents who ask, where were you when your child drowned? Why did you stop your child? Oh, poor parents. Oh no, oh my God, we have to be sympathetic for the parents, right? Your coping mechanisms, you already live a life, right? You have a life. And now you're taking that wisdom and guiding your children. Okay? Your children are not equipped with what you're able to cope with. Okay? So this is what I'm trying to say. While you're able to cope during COVID, during lockdown, and all these things that you're able to achieve, and all these things, work out, make a business, and all these things. But if you have children and you completely disregarded that, then that's a consequence to those children who go to school in 2 weeks. Those children are already feeling this neglect, this thing. And who are they going to lash out to? Other kids, right? You don't have anybody else. But now the guidelines is that they're supposed to be in isolation, social distancing, right? And then there's new kids who are coming into school for the first time, their first day of high school, their first day, they've been in kindergarten, but now they're going to high school. And now they can't even connect because they have to be in these cubicles. I mean, I read some of the guidelines of all the other school, and it's pretty much basically the same thing. Is that during lunchtime, they have to sit in their desks and they have to be eating and, right? I mean, it is on certain ground. It is on, but at the same time, I feel like the system is not really listening to health practitioners or parents right now who have been dealing just fine with their kids and working and stuff like that. I feel like they should have a voice into this and be able to contribute to these guidelines, right? And if we are doing all these things, then how are we able to, deal with the consequences of children in the future, in the next 4 months after that, right? What are the trauma, psychological issues that they're going to have because of this? Right? So that's something that I wanted to say, okay, are these schools providing mental health support? What are they providing? What is it that they're, what are we actually paying really for, right? Yes, they have to maintain health protocol and stuff like that, which is important, right? Because we don't want our kids to get this disease. But at the same time, there is a downfall on their well-being, right? But they need to be educated when they can be educated at home. So there's something that we need to focus on is self-discipline within the parent and the child, right? And also help those who already who are in college or who are in university or whatever, provide them with mental health support as well, because they have been taking courses during the summer online and dealing with all of this too. So that's something that I wanted to emphasize. Yeah, so we already touched on children's right? I, this is all about that, where who's listening to what they want to do, right? Like this mandatory thing that kids have to go to school because they have to, because the government or whatever says that they have to. It's like, but what about their rights? What if they don't want to? Oh no, because they all go into, so that's what it is. All parents have agreed, all parents sign, like that's what it. No, because there's a majority of children who don't want to do this, who actually liked being at home with their parents and working and stuff. But there's some parents who don't like it, right? They didn't. They can't cope with this too much, right? Because it is a lot. It's hard. It's so hard. But I think there's ways that we can find solutions to make it less harder, especially in the next 4 months, especially if we are in a second wave and we're in lockdown again, right? So there has to be some sort of way, program, or something, a community that it can be created. So, you know, um, yeah, that's what I wanted to talk about and see if you have anything that would you like to contribute or talk about. I'm gonna do another one of these, and yeah, I get more insight. I would love to hear your opinion, your comments. Just let me know what you think. If you have any ideas or strategies or something that you've been thinking, like, oh, this is something that I've been doing that helps me. Maybe this parent can it can help them. Hey, I heard about this school that is doing this, and it's really, just helping each other out in a way. That too. So also, wanted to announce that we raised $60 on the fundraiser, and I'm adding it today on the one of the Lebanon organizations today. So I'll be adding that today. I mean, it will be nice to do a little bit more, but that's all I be able to do during this couple of weeks. But anything that you can give, this video is actually will be all paid, and everything is going to go to these organizations as well. Right now, it's just devastating what's happening in Lebanon, and I I just cannot imagine, like, parents dealing with not having a home, or children not having their parents, or not able to think about school or any of those things, or not able to know if they're going to eat the next day or have medical assistance. And it's a lot. So that's why me and my team created this fundraiser, in order to help this organization to help them put their voice out there. And you know and they actually are doing the work, which is actually kind of beautiful. So if you have the time in the fundraiser, you can look at the ones that we are donating, and you can check them on Instagram, and my connection is on stage. Okay, sorry. Oh, okay, I guess it's letting time to let this go. But I wanted to send my prayers to California also. What they're dealing right now is it's devastating, but also it's something that I wanted to emphasize too, is how climate change has a huge effect on these fires, right? So that's another thing. A lot of things are happening at the same time, and this is why I wanted to I would be doing this health, environment. I'm an environmentalist. Science. We love to talk about that. Writing. I have a lot of writing tips, a lot of writing experience. So I would love to share that with you. Yeah, and things that are happening right now in the podcast of Your Story Matters, which is gonna start soon. As well, my book I'm releasing of surviving single parent and a business owner, and yeah, it will be released in December. So that's something that I'm kind of excited about, because even now during this time, what I wrote in my book to deal with things that are happening, and it has helped a lot. So I think it's time for me to release this. experience and wisdom and things that, I was able to cope as a mom, but also building a business and writing and, so I hope it helps other parents out there, other or wannabe parents soon. And yeah. Anyways, I hope you have a great day and a great weekend. And something that I really like this cup, so I wanted to put it out there. See this? Yes, yes. Your own thing. Do your own thing. Okay? And keep this and this because empathy is our superpower. And nobody, no COVID, no nothing can take that away from us. Okay? So keep this sacred. And don't let nobody tamp that. Okay? So have a good day. And I hope this was helpful. And, please like and subscribe and leave me comments if you have any questions or anything that you'd like to know or you'd like me to cover in the next episode that I'll be doing. Okay, bye.